Welcome back to Locally Louisiana. We are having a great time on this show today, especially me. You know why? Because I got to cook. That's right. That po' boy was delicious.
And I did not get to try any yet. But I'll be eating. It's the holidays. It's time for eating. Well, thank you. But also, so you think about November, December, and how much fun, and you're excited, but there's also some business that's got to be done. You got to take care of that the annual enrollment.
That's right. And speaking of open enrollment, we actually have the expert here today on the show with us, the CEO of Ochsner Health Plans, Jeff Fernandez. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Karen and Patrick, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming on the show. Look, we are excited about everything, all this information that you're going to give us today. Let's start off with this annual enrollment plan. What exactly is open enrollment, or the enrollment period? What is it?
I'm so glad you asked. And yes, I know health insurance, when people bring up that topic, you get a lot of eye rolls, but I have a different perspective on it. This is one of the most important times of the year, especially for seniors who are on Medicare or have a Medicare Advantage plan. Taking care of the cost of healthcare is just like any other cost in your life, whether it be your homeowner's insurance or your car payments or your house payment. We have to give attention to our health insurance cost. And what you mentioned, the annual enrollment period, is what we're in today. It started on October 15th and it ends on December 7th. And this is the window in which the government gives you the opportunity to, one, review your last year's expenses, and two, decide if the plan that you're on today is the right one. And if it is, it's no problem. You stay where you are. You don't have to make any changes. Or if you would like to make a change, you have to make that change before the end of December 7th for a January 1 effective date. And so that is why this is such an important period of time, because we all know how we all are. You mentioned it, right? It's the holidays. And so we got Thanksgiving coming up here soon. And then after Thanksgiving, everybody says, oh gosh, I didn't make a decision about my health insurance. Holy cow, I only have a week left. So the message today is don't procrastinate. Please plan ahead. Please don't wait the last minute. And please review your health plan to make sure it's one that you either want to stay with, or if you want to make that change.
I mean, absolutely. You don't want to be stuck without healthcare. That's hugely important. Now, what age factor does this affect mostly, or what age group?
So this is for people who are on Medicare. So for the bulk majority of people on Medicare, that means you're over 65. There are some people who are younger than 65 who are disabled who qualify for Medicare after they've been disabled for a fixed amount of time. But for the most part, this is those that are 65 and older and that have Medicare or Medicare Advantage plans.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. Well, what are some things that we should consider while reviewing these plans?
So first and foremost, it's what I mentioned. How much have you spent on your drugs? How much have you spent on co-pays when you visit the doctor? Have you had any hospitalizations? You need to look back on that and see if those costs fit within your budget. The second thing is, you need to look at the network. You always need to make sure that your providers that you see, or the bulk majority of them that you see, are in the network of the plan. It makes no sense to join a plan and then you can't go to the doctors that you like, right? Same thing with hospitals. You also want to compare the benefits, right? Not all benefits are the same. So co-pays vary from one plan to the next, and they do tend to change year to year, right? So they're not you can't just assume that what you have in 2023 is going to be the same in 2024. That's why it's so, you have to be vigilant and make sure that the plan that you're being offered in 24 is one that you like. Premium, right? Is there a premium? The good news is where we live, the majority of them are zero premium, and some of them do have a Part B give back, which is money that you get back on your Part B premium that you pay to the government, which is good. I also like to tell people, word of mouth, right? If all those things check out, it always helps us to ask your friends or family, hey, what plan are you on? Are you happy with it? And make sure that you check that box, because everything else could be fantastic, but if the word of mouth isn't there, you might make a different decision.
Well, I have to be honest, that's how when you just said that word of mouth piece, that is exactly how I pick my plan. I listen around to hear, okay, what is the best plan out there? So I'm glad you shared that, because I don't have time to sit down, because I'm one of those last minute guys. I don't have time to sit down and just compare all the different plans. So thank you for that, Jeff.
Yes, and thank you for giving us this information, so we're not depending on people like him to give us the answers. So tell me a little bit about medicare.gov. I hear that that's a very important tool.
Yeah, so this is the good news is even though this, and everybody always says this, health insurance is quote complicated, and it can be if you're not using the tools that are at our disposal. The good news is medicare.gov does operate a website that is very informative. You go in, you put your zip code where you live, you can actually enter in all the medications that you currently take. And when you hit enter, what it'll do is it'll pull up all the plans that are offered in your area with an estimated out-of-pocket cost for you based upon what you've inputted on the prescriptions that you're taking. So, and it's really neat because you can click on which plans you want to compare. So if you're in one, you can click on that one. You can click on two others you might be considering, and then it'll compare it for you. So this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Think about how much you've spent on healthcare in the past year, because when you look at that new plan, you can tell, hey, is this more or less than what I've spent in the past? And that is the best way to be informed about your choice. You don't ever want to leave these kind of things to chance and just say, but like, for example, you wouldn't only take word of mouth, right? That's a factor, but you would want to look at the absolute math behind each of the plans, because as I mentioned, don't stay the same year over year, and they do vary from plan to plan.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeff, for all of that information. We are well equipped now to choose our plans.
That's been great. And we got your information up on the screen so people will know just where to find you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for the time today.
All right. Thank you.
Well, I learned a lot.
I learned a lot of information. I'm excited about the different websites and stuff that I can go and visit.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I had a great time today, and we hope you had a great time too. And maybe you learned a little something, right?
That's it. And look, make sure you watch us on yourview.com, or you can download the app so that you can stay in tune. And if you would like to be featured on our show, all you have to do is go to social media, our social media platforms on Instagram or Facebook. Send us a message and let us know.
And that's at Locally Louisiana. So we will see you next time. Don't forget, you can catch us on yourview.com, and have a great week. Until next time, let the good times roll.